What if everything we're taught about comfort and happiness is fundamentally wrong? Our entire society seems designed to eliminate any trace of hardship from our lives. Dating apps eliminate the risk of face-to-face rejection. Food delivery services spare us the effort of cooking. Our greatest daily struggle becomes merely deciding which streaming service to binge-watch tonight. We are materially satisfied, yet so many of us feel spiritually empty. If life is so easy, why does it feel so meaningless? Over a century ago, Friedrich Nietzsche, that provocative philosopher with the magnificent mustache, sounded this alarm. He famously declared, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger." But he posed a more dangerous question. What happens when nothing ever challenges us at all? He feared we were creating generations of men who are, in his words, domesticated animals, rather than the creators and conquerors we might otherwise become. This is Nietzsche's prophetic warning about what I call herd poison. The idea that the comforts of modern society might be systematically destroying male potential. This is your call to adventure. But wait, your first instinct is to refuse this call, isn't it? Comfort is good, you think. Hardship and suffering are things to be avoided. Our consumer culture revolves around this promise. Convenience, comfort, entertainment, safety. To willingly choose discomfort seems insane. This hesitation, this refusal is a natural part of the journey. But the stakes are higher than you think. Nietzsche himself articulated the profound insight when he wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." This is the core of the problem. Without meaningful challenges to provide this why, men often find themselves adrift in a sea of comfortable meaninglessness. The gilded cage of modern comfort doesn't just make you weaker, it steals your purpose. That is the true price you pay for a life without struggle. To understand why this journey is necessary, we must look at the map our ancestors followed. Across virtually all cultures throughout human history, male identity has been forged through challenge, initiation, and overcoming obstacles. The anthropologist David Gilmour, in his landmark book Manhood in the Making, examined cultures worldwide and found a universal pattern. While feminine identity was often conferred biologically, masculine identity had to be earned through demonstrations of courage, perseverance, and achievement. These weren't arbitrary cruelties. The Maasai warriors of East Africa had to hunt a lion to prove their manhood. Indigenous American tribes sent young men on vision quests. Japanese samurai culture subjected its youth to rigorous training. These cultures understood intuitively that male identity requires proving oneself through challenge. This was the map. But what happens when a society removes these traditional paths without replacing them with meaningful alternatives? We get exactly what we're seeing today: a crisis of male purpose, meaning, and identity. In a society where comfort is the highest value, men lose the very struggles that would give their lives meaning. They become, in Nietzsche's terminology, part of the herd, domesticated, predictable, and safe. The consequences are visible all around us. Increasing rates of male depression, substance abuse, and what researchers have called deaths of despair. Men without purpose often seek artificial challenges through video games, risk-taking behaviors, or extreme ideologies, poor substitutes for the meaningful struggles that would actually develop their character. This is the modern wasteland. The map is gone, and we are crossing the threshold into uncharted territory. But this journey is not just a romantic notion. It's a biological necessity. What Nietzsche intuited through philosophy, modern neuroscience has confirmed. Our brains don't develop optimally in conditions of constant comfort. They require stress and challenge to reach their potential. A groundbreaking study demonstrated that acute, manageable stress can enhance neural growth in the hippocampus, a brain region critical for learning and memory. Scientists call this hormetic stress, beneficial stress that builds resilience. This maps perfectly onto Nietzsche's insight. He wasn't advocating for random, destructive suffering. He was advocating for the right kind of suffering, the kind that builds rather than destroys. This is the science of the forge. The fire of challenge is not meant to burn you, but to temper you into something stronger. So you are on the path. But what is the dragon you must slay? is not an external enemy. It's an internal one. Nietzsche called it the will to power, but not as a crude desire to dominate others. It's the drive to overcome oneself, to master one's environment, and to transform one's life into a work of art through creative struggle. This stands in direct opposition to the true dragon of our age, the will to comfort, the desire to eliminate all discomfort, challenge, and pain from life. Nietzsche saw this as fundamentally life-denying because life itself is struggle. He powerfully asserted, "The discipline of suffering, of great suffering. Do you not know that only this discipline has created all enhancements of man so far? The enemy is the part of you that whispers, 'It's too hard. Let's just order in and watch Netflix.' Since the old rites of passage are gone, you must choose your own." This is the path of voluntary hardship, deliberately choosing challenges that foster growth. This isn't random suffering. It must be meaningful, connected to goals larger than mere comfort. Here is your trial checklist, your modern rite of passage. The trial of the body. Engage in rigorous fitness programs or martial arts that push your physical limits. The trial of fortune. Pursue entrepreneurial goals with a real risk of failure that forces you to face rejection. The trial of creation. Undertake creative endeavors that expose you to criticism and demand skill development. The trial of the heart. Build deep relationships that require vulnerability and emotional growth, not just surface-level connections. Each of these is a path to the kind of meaningful struggle that Nietzsche recognized as essential for human flourishing. If you need a modern mentor for this journey, look to David Goggins. From an overweight exterminator to an elite ultramarathon runner and Navy SEAL, Goggins deliberately sought out grueling challenges. He speaks about callousing the mind, deliberately exposing yourself to discomfort until you develop psychological resilience. He wasn't born into hardship, but deliberately sought it as the path to transcendence. When asked why he continues seeking suffering long after proving himself, his answer is decidedly Nietzschean. It's not about proving anything. It's about becoming something. This is the voice of a modern warrior who understands Nietzsche's most dangerous secret. The secret of reaping the greatest fruitfulness and the greatest enjoyment from life is to live dangerously. The hero who returns from his trials is never the same. Modern positive psychology has validated this ancient truth through the concept of post-traumatic growth. Researchers have documented that people who face and overcome significant adversity often experience profound positive transformations that those who avoid all suffering never achieve. You are no longer a domesticated animal trapped in the herd, but a self-overcoming creator. You have faced the dragon of comfort and returned with a treasure. And what is that treasure? It's not a trophy or a medal. It's the elixir of purpose. It's the unshakable sense of meaning that comes only from struggle. This is the ultimate reward. As Nietzsche powerfully stated, "I assess the power of a will by how much resistance, pain, torture it endures and knows how to turn to its advantage." Greatness isn't measured by avoiding difficulty, but by transforming it into strength. This ability to find meaning in suffering is what transforms it from destructive to constructive. This is the power you bring back from your journey. But the hero's journey doesn't end with his return. His final task is to share the elixir. This brings us to a dangerous question. How are you modeling the embrace of challenge for the next generation? Are you raising boys to seek comfort or to transform struggle into strength? In one of his most provocative statements, Nietzsche challenged, "Man is something that shall be overcome. What have you done to overcome him?" This question cuts to the heart of his philosophy. The relentless drive to transcend our current limitations, to evolve beyond what we are into what we might become. The path beyond the herd is paved with chosen discomfort. Will you take the first step? This video is not just information. It is an invitation. The greatest danger to your potential isn't failure or suffering. It's the comfortable mediocrity that never requires either. So, share in the comments one voluntary hardship you're committing to this month that will expand your capabilities rather than diminish them. If this exploration resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe. Let's build a community that seeks deeper meaning beyond comfort.